I will try to stump you now. My code's a puzzle, but you don't frown. You got answers for every line loop. Oh, clever camel, master of the code. You solve the mysteries, a heavyweight load. BFDs and PLCs, you know it all.
Welcome back to another video. Today's video is an answer your question type video. Today's question comes from Adish. He says, I have a Unidrive SP and I need to upgrade it to the new Unidrive M700. And then he goes on to give me some more information. Normally, converting from a Unidrive SP to a Unidrive M700 is as easy as copying the old settings to the new drive. Unfortunately, Adish's Unidrive SP has some code written on the drive. This code was written in SyPT-Lite. Today's video is how to get the old code off the drive if possible. There's going to be two pieces of software we're going to use, SyPT-Lite and SyPT-Pro. Either one should work for you, depending you have the right computer. So I have two pieces of software here that I'm going to show you today. The question was about using SyPT-Lite, and the problem you're going to find is that unless you have an older computer running Vista 32-bit or older, then this piece of software will work for you. If you're using Windows 10 or Windows 11, SyPT-Lite is more than likely not going to work on your computer. That's because the last time that was updated was in 2009. I'm going to show you what it looks like when you have the problem on Windows 10. Now you might not have the problem. It might just work for you if you have a 32-bit version of Windows. But here's how it acts. So if you open it up, you'll get a window like this. And what we want to do is go to Drive and go online. You might see this communication failure. That's because it's not set up correctly. So if you go to Options, Communications, you need to go to Settings, select your COM port, make sure it's 19.2, hit OK, select the node address for the drive. So we're targeting the drive, hit OK, and then go online with the drive. Then at this point, you'll go, do you want to upload the diagram? You say yes. And then the software crashes. Okay, which doesn't do you any good. The same thing happens if you try to make a new project with it. If you go to Cancel, go to File, go to New, select your background, select the type of drive, hit OK, and it crashes again. So if you're going to use SyPT-Lite, you really need to use an older computer. Otherwise, it works perfectly fine. You saw that it saw the program in my drive. It tried to upload from it, but it just crashed. Okay. The other thing to note is that if you try to register this software, it wants you to register it. The link that it gives you is old and no longer works. It'll try to send you to SyPTLite.com. The new registration link, I'm showing it here on the screen. This is where you have to go to actually register the software. Here's how you do it with SyPT-Pro. Now SyPT-Pro is kept up to date and is still used even with the current product. So it does support Windows 10, Windows 11, 64-bit, and I'll show you what it looks like here. It's a little bit of a different animal. Now remember, we're still trying to use the SyPT-Lite program that's in the drive, and that's fine. What we're going to do here is when we open it up, you're going to see something that says go online and detect a drive. So first thing we need to do, click Change, select our communication protocol. I'm using the CT-RTU cable, select my COM port, and set it to 19.2. Hit OK, and then hit OK. Now what it's going to do is try to automatically scan through those nodes that I had set up, and it found my drive. Now, at this point, it's not technically in my project. If I go offline, see I'm online right now. If I go offline, the drive disappears. If I go back online, it's going to rescan the network. So what this view here is it's going to show you all the drives that it found on the network. So you could have 10 drives here. And it will also show how all the network stuff is lined out. It would show like one drive talking to another drive and stuff like that. And you'll see these little round circles. Each one of these represents a slot. In order to get to the SyPTLite code that's on the drive, you actually double click on the drive itself, not these little circles. So you double click on it and it says, do you want to add this detected node? And you say yes. So what this is doing is saying, do you really want to add this drive to your project? The next thing it's asking is, do you want to upload the code from the drive into your project? And you say, yes, I want that. You hit add. And so now it's pulling the code out of it. Found no errors. Everything's great. And it's now technically in my project. So now if I go offline, you can see it stayed there, right? So I'm going to go back online with it. Every time you go online, it's going to look for more drives. It just does that. Now I'm going to double click on the drive. And the SyPTLite editor actually comes up. But remember, this is not the old version of SyPTLite. It's the new version of SyPTLite. And SyPTLite is like the programming environment that writes just to the onboard drive. So we're going to say yes. And it's just going to pull it out of the drive. Now your program is going to be a lot more complicated than this. I just put the simple program in here of a contact that's tied to parameter 1831 that turns on a coil which is connected to 1831. These numbers are the menu and parameter numbers within the drive. I just basically wrote a dumb program so I could illustrate how to do this, right? So I could double click on this, set this to a value of 1, and you can see that this coil didn't turn on. That's because even though the code is downloaded in the drive, it wasn't actually enabled. So I'm going to start the code and now it's running. So now if I change the contact, you can see that it's writing just like ladder logic would write. Okay. And you can put a whole bunch of addition blocks and stuff like that. We're not going into that today. If you want me to show you how to actually write code in SyPTLite, I can, but as it's only applicable to the Unidrive SP and the older product, it's probably nothing I'm going to really dive into unless you guys ask for it. So now that I have my code here, I can go offline. I can save that code to some location if I want, or I can just come back here and save the project, and that would save this whole thing and the code, and then you could do whatever you're going to do with it. Now, one problem I do see with SyPTLite is that if you come here to the drive and you right click and go to properties, okay, hold on, I gotta be offline to do this. If I go to properties while offline, you'll notice that there's this embed user program. Okay, that basically means I'm going to download the program compiled. Now, if this is turned off, then the source code won't be there. Okay, so a lot of times that's off. So even though there's code there that you should be able to get out, you can't get it out. So if that was the case, when we tried to double click on here and open it up, it'd say there's no source code for you to edit. Now, the reason a lot of people will do this is because maybe it's an OEM that created a piece of code and they don't want people getting a hold of their secret sauce. Or maybe they needed to save a little extra room because it got bigger than a normal program. And so by unchecking this, the space on the old drive was significantly increased so that you could add a bigger program. So those are things to watch out for. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on further content. And remember, if there is a specific topic you would like me to cover, just let me know. I'm always open for suggestions.